the loan players, they'll have to go back. But what are your hopes for? Well, Henderson's been discussed, so the other players you've had on loan, what's the plan for Madine, etc.?
Well, Gary goes back to his parent club, so does Scott Hogan, Marvin Johnson and Kieran Dowell. So the fabulous thing about them is that we know so much about their personalities and about their play as well. So with no hesitation in terms of knowing what those players are about, and if we need to go back and they are available, then they'll be discussed. But their loans are finished, and as I said, they'll go back to their parent clubs, and you never know what sort of interest that they've had from other clubs because of their contribution. And I thank them all. I thank the players that have been here on loan. Thank the players that have played small parts that are leaving us, and obviously thank the players that are in contract. Will be part and parcel of the group going forward. But yeah, we know those players, and it's great that we've had an insight in that in terms of what they can achieve and what they can produce for us.
Would it be, and this is the final question, part of the club's initial plan then to maybe offer existing players new contracts because of their success?
No, not at all. And that's not us flexing a muscle. I think one of the big things that we talked about, I think it's relevant to the interview as well, is when we first came into the football club was for the football club to regain the power and control, and that isn't being arrogant about it, but we felt it had been lost, and it was in the hands of agents and players, and it was certainly not the case, and it was never going to be the case when Steve came back and I was involved. That we had to pull that back to the football club. So the players have got they have lifts in their contracts that recognise their success. They have bonuses in their contracts that reward them for what they've achieved, which is phenomenal. And as I said, they lift themselves up into Premier League wages just as much as we safeguard that by if relegation happens or out of the other league, if that had happened, then their contracts would have gone down. So I think that's a sensible way of doing it. So I'm not be talking to anybody. The biggest thing is now is obviously securing and capturing the players that we feel will improve us and take us forward. Making sure that we find homes for the players that we need to move on and get that group nice and tidy. And then when the Premier League season starts and players have got to prove themselves, I think they recognise that. We've all got to up our game. I've got to up my game. The staff has, but most importantly, the players have got to prove to me that they can handle Premier League football, and then they will be. We're not a club. We're not a club that players need to come to us. We'll go to them. Before that happens, and reward them after they've produced performances. And as I said, we all want to stay in the Premier League in small steps, but they've got to do well first and foremost to be rewarded, and really that's the way it's worked out for us.